Hey, Algebra 1 kids, this is Dr. Callahan with week 5 Thursday. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. This is week 5, so after this week, you guys have exactly 13 more weeks left until the end of the school year, so that's good. Go ahead and pause the video and answer the following 3 questions. All right, let's go ahead and create the assignment for your class today for algebra. So this is for week 5, Thursday, Algebra 1, Semester 2. Our topic of discussion is going to be factoring with coefficient a that is greater than 1. Your instruction, as always, is make sure you guys view the assignment for your attendance, because if you don't view it, I have to mark you absent. And then from there, make sure you guys are watching the video. It takes me a bit of time to make the video, so make sure you watch it because it's specifically for you so you don't fall behind. And then upload your assignment. Make sure you're checking in with me by 8:40 on Thursday because that's when I take attendance. If you do it later than that, I might mark you absent. It is worth 10 points for you guys to do this. 3 p.m. And it's always due by that same day at 3. So I'm going to go ahead and assign this. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started with this. So today, take a look at the breakdown of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about my notes on factoring special cases of trinomial. We'll probably do a little bit of additional practice. And in addition to this, we are going to go over some practice problems. So let's go ahead and get started on the first thing. So first thing I want you guys to do is turn on to this page right there. And we're going to go over factoring this. Actually, before you do that, just kidding. Sorry, guys. We're going to go over something first. Let's go over this one first. All right, so this is going to be kind of like a little review from the previous day, which is going to be on factoring. And actually, I'm like changing my mind a lot, and I'm super duper. Actually, I'm sorry about that. We're gonna be switching off a little bit. We're gonna go to over here instead. Sorry. I know I'm like changing my mind a lot right now because I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't think I really like it. So I'm gonna switch it over to this side, and we're gonna pay attention on that instead. So let me go ahead and copy this. New slide, and paste, and let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. All right, that should work out just fine. Okay, so turn over to this page right here. There we go. All right, so from here, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go over these 2 different questions. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it up like this. And I'm gonna put X, 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 and X. So last time I talked to you guys about this, we have to do a T-chart. Last number is the first one. Middle number is the second one. You gotta ask yourself, do I have any positive numbers or negative numbers? Well, it's all positive. So that means all the things I use have to be positive numbers as well. So what are the factors of 12? But remember, they have to be positive numbers. I can use a +1 and a +12, a +2 and a +6, positive 3 and a positive 4. And I think that's as far as it goes because I can go back to like using a 12 and a 1, 6 and a 2, 4 and a 3. But it's the same thing. It's just backwards. All right. Only one of these is going to be my winning combination. Which one here adds up to a 7? Yeah, you guess it. It's the last one. 3 plus 4 is 7. So my answer is x plus 3, x plus 7. And that's it. That is how simple it is. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the second one. What's different about the first one and the second one, or the second one versus the first one? What do you see as a major difference? Do you see how there's a 3 in front of the x squared? That's called a coefficient of greater than 1. So that coefficient is bigger than 1 because it's a 3. So what you have to do is you take the first and the last number and you multiply it. And when you multiply it, which gives me 24, that number is going to be my number that I use. I'm going to use the first, multiply the last. Okay, then you're going to take your middle number, and that's going to be your middle number. So what you're going to do next is you're going to ask yourself, what times what gives me a 24? And notice, all the numbers are positive, so you're going to use positive numbers. So 1 and 12, 2, or I'm sorry, not 1 and 12, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Got a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, stop it, come on. My pen is having a little bit, there we go. 4 and 6. Now, only one of these will add up to the middle number, which is 14. So which one is that going to be? Yes, you absolutely guessed it. It is going to be this one right here, which is 2 and 12. So you're going to put x plus 2 and x plus 12. Okay, but because you went ahead and multiply by the 3, you have to do the opposite. So what's opposite of a times 3? It's a divided by 3. See the divided on both sides. And guess what? 3 doesn't go into 2, so I'm going to move it to the front. So 3x plus 2 is my first answer. 3 does go into 12 4 times, so that is going to be my second answer. And this is your answer right here. All right, let's go ahead and go over here then. Let's practice the last question one more time. So I'm going to focus on this one here. So once again, you have a 3 times by the negative 4, which gives you a negative 12. And that number is always going to be the first and the last number. Then you put the middle number over here, which is a negative 1 right there. And as you can see, these all have negative numbers. So your terms that you use for a negative 12 have to be a negative number as well. So I could do a negative 1 and 12, and that looks really bad. Here we go, let's try this. But then you can also use a positive 1 and a negative 12, which also gives you a negative 12. Negative 2 and 6, positive 2 and negative 6, negative 3 and 4, positive 3 and negative 4. And that's really as far as it goes. Now, which one of these here gives me a negative 1 when I add it together? Take a moment. You guessed it. You got it. It's 3 and negative 4. So what you're going to do with this is you're going to take those two numbers and you're going to put it into the parenthesis. X minus 3, x minus 4. But then remember how you multiply the 3 here? Well, you got to do the opposite of a times 3, which is a divided by 3. That's going to give you an x minus 1. 3 doesn't go into 4, so you move it in the front. And boys and girls, this is your answer. All right, so I'm going to go on to the next part of today's notes. So what I want you guys to do is get over to this page right here. And it seems like I have to set this up because it's not Perfect, yeah, but that's okay. Let me just go ahead and take a moment and set it up. And while I'm setting this up, I want you guys to kind of set this up as well. So, okay, so what I want you guys to do right now is you're going to go ahead and try to fill this part out as much as you can and see how many you can actually do. Okay, so all right, we're going to turn over to this page right here. You see the ones I highlighted for you guys? Take about maybe 5 to 10 minutes and go ahead and tell me what are your answers for those. They're not anything fancy, they're pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, so pause the video. All right, now check your answers. Are your answers somewhat similar to mine, hopefully? Remember, the last number had to be multiplied to get the last number, and you had to add the numbers together to get the middle number. Okay, so now let's take a look around this pace right here. So we're going to be focusing on this area right there. Okay, so I'm going to work on this one with you guys together, okay? And then just remember, you want to create like little tables for this, so that way you're able to draw this. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of draw a T, or actually maybe I can search for a T table. Hold on a second. So let's go back over here, and I'm just going to search for a T table. Okay, and so then as I go over to this page, what I want you guys to do is under each one of these, go ahead and draw yourself your own T table because you're going to need it for the questions that we're about to do, okay? And you want to draw just really underneath each one of these. Okay, and you just want to draw the T table under the first two. Cool. Now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and proceed forward with this then. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, my last number is a negative 56, and my middle number is a -1. So let's think of all the negative numbers that you can use and positive number to get a negative 56. So that's a -1 and 56, +1 and -56. You could do a -2 and a 28, +2 and a -28. You could do a -4 and a 14, or a +4 and a -14, or you could do a -7 and a +8, or a +8 and a -7, okay? One of these will give you a -1. Take a moment, which one is it going to be? And I just found a little typo here. Give me a second. So this is be a -8, +7. There you go. Well, you found it. It has to be the last one right here because that's the only one that gives you a -1. So then what you do is your answer is going to be n -8 n +7. But then you have to keep in mind, you guys, that because you, well, actually, that's it. I'm just kidding. I thought there was a number over here that's bigger than 1, but no, it's not. It's what? All right, let's take over here. You have a 6 and a -5. So you're looking at negative numbers. So you could do a -1 and a 6, +1, -6, -2, 3, +3, 2, -3. Which one of these Or actually, you know what? It has to be a positive 6. So that changes things up a little bit. And you have to have a negative number. So technically, that has to be a negative 6, negative 2, negative 3. And that's it. Which one gives you a negative 5? Yep, it's the last one. So this one has to be 1 minus 2 and minus 3. And that's your answer. All right, and then take a look at these questions over here. These obviously look very different, okay? So you're gonna start off with x and x, put a plus and a minus. It's always gonna be like this, okay? So this will be a k and a k, plus and a minus, n and an n, plus and a minus, x and x, plus and a minus. You take the square root of this. What's the square root of 81? Positive and negative 9. And that's it. I promise you, I kid you not, that is it. Because if you don't believe me, you can actually FOIL it. FOIL. First is x times x, which is x squared. Outer, which is x times negative 9, which is a negative 9x. Inner, which is x times 9, which is a 9x. And then last, which is a negative 9 times a positive 9, which is a negative 81. Guess what? Outer and inner cancels out. What do you have left? X squared minus 81, which is exactly the same as your original equation. So you know your answer is correct. Okay, let's go on to this one. What's the square root of 121? You guessed it, positive 11 and a negative 11. What's the square root of 100? Positive 10, negative 10. What's the square root of 169? If you know that 100 is going to give you a 10, square root of 144 gives you a 12, what do you think is going to give you a 13? It's 169. So positive 13 minus 13, and that's it. All right, you guys. So for the rest of the time, I would like you guys to do some additional practices. So make sure you're on week 5 Thursday. And I'm gonna have you guys go ahead and work on these right here. So these are your algebra puzzles. These are the questions right here in yellow. And I want you guys to take that and go ahead and match them to the answers right here in green. As always, you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care and be safe.